welcome to this video on the most recent fight between Canelo Alvarez and Munguia, obviously taking place on Saturday night. And just to go through the rounds really and go through the result and what I thought of the fight. I think round one, I think Munguia did very well. I think he came out well. I think the whole strategy from Munguia and his real camp was to try and keep Canelo at range and not allow him on the inside, and that's what he did from the start, which was basically stay in the centre of the ring, push him back with your jab and try and keep that distance for as long as possible and win some rounds and get that under your belt where, okay, then, you know, you hope to try, you only hope really to cause Canelo a bit of a problem point-wise to force him into moves he doesn't want to do, which is stay patient and just catch you when he wants to catch you. Really force him later on in the fight to push himself more than he would want to. So he did that. He kept it range. He did very well at keeping Canelo away with that jab early on, and the speed of that jab was good enough to keep Canelo at range in that first round. Munguia, I think 10-9 won that first round. Round two, going into it, Munguia using that jab again. But Canelo, basically, what happened was, Canelo really, I don't think it was really a speed change from Munguia, just into the second round. It would be unlikely. It didn't look like a speed issue either. But actually, Canelo just started okay, if that's all you're doing with the jab, I'll move into it a bit more. I'm not going to allow you to just back me up like you were and just allow myself to not fire back as much. And Munguia actually gets a few bits off, but it doesn't affect Canelo at all. And this is, you'll see this is a theme throughout the fight. He seems to just, he basically jabs him, gets a few hooks off, but they're just against his gloves. They're not really he's not really setting it up where he's going for any particular weakness to try and, go to the body and set it up top, or he's just, Canelo's just there with a high guard and he's just hitting that guard and he's just happy with hitting the guard. He ain't trying to force through it. He's not trying to, poke through that guard with a couple cheeky shots and then hook to try and move his guard. Doesn't really affect Canelo. Canelo doesn't, particularly do that much either. So I've scored that as a draw. So 10-10 round, that round two. I don't think there's much between them. You could have scored it either way, and you wouldn't be too far wrong on that one. Munguia then, round three, does well at pushing Canelo back with the jab. On that one again, it's another start to the jabbing story, which was clearly a strategy from Munguia's camp. But Canelo's now trying to counter him, getting some good punches out. There's an opening for an uppercut, which I've noted here. So from this point where Canelo sort of see something where I think it's Munguia actually going for a hook at this point to the body, and he sort of sees that actually Munguia opens himself a bit, especially when he has to get into that close range, and I think this is a problem with being how tall he is. Probably not, it's less of a skill problem, more of a height problem, where a taller guy is actually going to have more of a longer arm extension from his shoulder to his elbow, where actually that hook comes out further than a Canelo, and Canelo can actually uppercut past it or in between it. So if Canelo actually moves out the way of it, there's a big distance where actually it's not that, Munguia could be faster than Canelo, but if Canelo does the same thing, there's so much less distance to get that hand back to where it needs to be. And that's a problem where Munguia, and this is the reason for the strategy, Munguia needs to keep him at range, because actually on the inside, Canelo's fast. He's amazing at that sort of game, fighting on the inside. That's where he wants to be. And if you start playing that game as the taller fighter, with the sort of height difference he's got, you're going to cause yourself a bit of a problem. Canelo gets put late on. Munguia gets Canelo in the corner, does well, but really, in a sense, hitting against the gloves and not really doing much damage, really, with the amount of punches he's throwing. It's kind of a consistent thing going through and since the start of the fight. Munguia's throwing well, a lot of punches and things, but they're just not really doing much. They're just hitting the gloves, and then right at the end of this round 3, Munguia actually catches him with something that actually is the first thing to catch Canelo's attention, really, in this round. So he hits him with an uppercut and a hook, and it really just pushes him back, and it's not really like Canelo just moving out of the way. He gets hit with it, and he goes, okay, that's one for you. You actually caught me with something there. And that's right at the end of the round. So Munguia 10-9 on that one. So Munguia's up, I would say, 2 points here so far. With that second round draw, round 4. And I'll say this now is where it really changes. Canelo comes out after that close end to round 3, where he gets sort of caught and he sort of goes, okay, I've got to turn this on a bit now. I've found some openings, let's use them. Munguia early on gets in close, and this is a sort of problem. Round 3, he goes, okay, I've hit him with a uppercut and a hook, and I've caught him. That's what I need to do. And really, the strategy flips from now on with Munguia, or flips till a good part of the portion of the fight where Munguia doesn't mind getting on the inside with Canelo, and it's sort of a problem where that was never the strategy. And okay, yeah, you may have caught him in round 3, but it's Canelo Alvarez. You don't want to be in the inside. And Munguia's touching Canelo, and it's really nothing really. Munguia's literally throwing a lot more punches than Canelo at this point, but then he just starts getting caught with, basically throws 4 or 5 punches and then gets caught with one from Canelo, and the Canelo one's a sort of a great counter shot, and it's doing a lot more damage. And what you see is it's like 4 or 5 shots Canelo, 4 or 5 shots from Munguia, again Canelo, and then actually near the end, bang, just an uppercut, and it gets caught a few times by Canelo, and then that last time with that 4 or 5 punch combination, Canelo gets him and he puts him down with that punch. And lovely, nice uppercut from Canelo, and that's near the end of the round. Canelo touches him up a bit more onto the gloves, really, but nothing much after that, really, to the end of the round. A 10-8 by Canelo, and is really where this fight changes. Munguia trying to get back to the jab now, realised he sort of made that mistake in round 4 where he sort of thought, my hooks and my uppercuts can do something here, I don't want to be on the inside. But in this round 5, Canelo's pushing him back. This is a problem. So he's getting pushed back by Canelo. And Canelo's really looking for that uppercut now. He knows, look, as soon as Munguia goes for them sort of body shots, or hooks, he's up and open for a counter. And Canelo's experience really comes through here, where he's just allowing Munguia to unload on his arms, on his gloves, and just, look, I know my one punch will do more. And really, Munguia having to battle out to get out the sort of pushing back from Canelo, and really using a lot of energy to do that in this round. So 10-9 Canelo for round 5. That not much damage done, but Canelo clearly in control. Round 6, Canelo hurts Munguia with a big body shot. So it's a great little body shot, left hand to the body in this round. Munguia opens up, but just hits the gloves again. So again, throughout this fight, you'll see it, and if you rewatch it, please do. You'll see Munguia just opens up with left, right hooks, and it's just hitting the gloves. And Canelo will take that all day with the high guard he's got. You really need to work the body well, but I think he is working the body, but not as much. Why the hook is there? He knows the hook / uppercut is there for the inside fighting of Canelo. yeah, the body shots are doing well for Canelo and trying to get the hands to drop, and he does. You'll see that throughout this fight from now on, that the hands do drop on several occasions from them body shots that Canelo's sending through. Canelo 10-9 again for round 6. Round 7, Canelo getting in them good counters as Munguia just sort of unloads too much. He really just unloading 4, 5, 6 shots, and then Canelo comes back with the last one. Canelo moves out of the way for and just hits him, and it's sort of like, well, come on, Munguia, don't, he's happy to stand there and let you unload on his arms, but the fact is that you got to give him something where he doesn't want to counter. You got to give him something that pushes him back or stuns him. Which isn't happening. Canelo working the body well again, does well again. Canelo's counters are too good. This is what I put here. So too good to Munguia's fight. Really, Munguia isn't. It's sort of getting more and more desperate now. You're talking round 7. Canelo's won quite a few rounds. Canelo's definitely ahead. What are you gonna do? You got to do something. And he's throwing a lot over this fight, and you'll see this. He unloads on 4 or 5 shots, not really setting them up that well, just unloading on the arms of Canelo. And round 7, 10-9 Canelo again. Round 8, Munguia throwing a lot through this round, but not hurting Canelo again. So throwing a lot, but not using them punches effectively, just landing on the gloves again, or Canelo's just, protecting himself really well or moving out of the way of the shots. But Canelo's one shot is doing so much more, and this is what I put here, that you can have them 4 or 5 shots from Munguia and he's just not doing as much damage as what Canelo's one shot is doing. And you'll see this between rounds when you see the replays. If you rewatch it, you'll see the points where Munguia can unload, but actually that one shot you'll see actually catches the attention of Munguia every time, and Canelo is just happy to allow you to unload, and he'll dodge that last shot and get you and punish you for just unloading. And coming into range, you're coming into a range that isn't as effective for yourself being the taller fighter. So round 8, 10-9. Round 9, Munguia trying to get on the inside again early on. He needs to stay out of the range and not get in the inside game of Canelo. This is what I've put here. So, but again, I've put that down. You're in round 9. You're losing the fight. You need to sort of do something here. So Munguia pressing him back how it was sort of round 1, or a similar style, a similar strategy, which is what he should have went throughout for. Round 3, he may have caught Canelo, but come on, he's one of the most experienced fighters out there, one of the best fighters out there. You can't be going, okay, I can smell blood. He's not like any other fighter you've faced. But, he gets pressed back and Canelo circles out that corner and does well. I think Munguia takes that round, to be honest, round 9. I think he did better in that round, but in a sense, it's difficult because there wasn't really much damage done there. But I did think with Munguia pushing forward, getting him in the corner a bit, how much damage did Canelo get off? I think he got less counter damage in that round off. So I'll give that to Munguia round 9. Round 10, Canelo doing well. Each punch that lands is getting a response from Munguia at this point. Canelo's just waiting on that uppercut, really, getting a few shots off, but really just waiting for that final uppercut if he leaves himself open, Munguia. And Canelo's doing well at this point, totally in control, totally control the round. So 10-9 Canelo round 10. But a few bits of damage, but not massive amounts of damage really coming off in that round. Round 11, Munguia pushing Canelo, but he's trying to make something happen here, but not really getting anywhere with it. Canelo, very good uppercut with 1 minute left on the clock, so actually caught him with that uppercut, not as clean as he probably wanted, because that uppercut was really going to be the one that put Munguia down in round 4, and could do it again, because he was leaving himself open for it. And throughout the fight, really, after that round 3 he tried it, you sort of seen it. Round 4 he caught him with it, and throughout then he was still catching him quite well with it. Munguia obviously knowing what it can do after getting knocked down by it, but still leaving himself a bit open for it, because Canelo did catch him a few times with it. And I think Munguia just really had to stick to a game plan to keep him on the outside a lot more. He couldn't go on the inside with Canelo, and as soon as he started doing that, he really lost it, and that's where he got caught. Anyway, round 11, he's trying to rethink his game plan, but 10-9 Canelo again. Going into round 12, both getting on the inside, and both basically Munguia just trying to go for it now. And really, Canelo's just avoiding the big strikes of Munguia or taking him on the gloves and then countering well. Canelo puts it on Munguia late on to show how good he is, and then 10-9 I've put down as Canelo at the end of round 12. So Canelo win by decision, I've got down here. I've got him to win by 17-11 with that draw in the early round. The actual judges came out with 17-110 Canelo, 16-11 and 15-12. So to be honest, close enough to ours. It looks like a couple of rounds. That draw round that I gave probably went to Munguia. That would make it 16-11. So that's probably where that fight came from. And if that round was given to Canelo, it makes that 17-10. The 15-12 is a bit odd. I don't see where that gives the next round to Munguia, which I don't really see. But overall, all totally a very dominant performance. You're never going to see a different result than that once. From what you saw in the ring, really, there was no real judging needed by the end. I think everyone knew he won decisively. And Munguia has to go back to the drawing board. I think if he stayed at range, I think that's the whole plan for that sort of guy against Canelo. He has to stay at range. He has to use his advantages. And if you start playing the game with Canelo thinking you've caught him, that's what happens. You get caught round 4, and look, he's not going to stop. As soon as he finds you out with a sort of uppercut or something like that on the inside, and you still want to play that game, or you, like Munguia did, start getting desperate late on to go on the inside because you've got to get something on him, he's going to win decisively. You just had to really take him into... You have to get him into round... I think this with Canelo, you have to take him into at least 5, 6, 7 with a good point advantage and force him to do something. I think that's the only way someone beats Canelo. I think for like Munguia, you had to keep him at range until that point and stop him from getting anything on you. Really, get behind the jab and hide it and push him back as much as possible. And when he pushes, look to keep your hands up or avoid what power punches are coming back. And don't try and get into a firefight. I think Munguia did that, and that was a problem where actually he was getting caught. You then become desperate, and actually that's Canelo's game then when you're trying to unload hooks and power shots. But overall, Canelo very comfortable in this fight overall. I don't think you probably do a bit better in the early rounds, but Canelo, very professional, very experienced fighter, and did very well over the 12. Who he fights next, I don't know. I think it's a very dominant performance. I think, again, it's hard to find Canelo opponents that I think would actually beat him. And I think that's a problem with everyone, really, with Canelo. He's just so good. I think it's hard to bet against him in this sort of form. I don't see how he loses it. I think you've got to have good advantages. Munguia had some good advantages, and if you stick behind a jab, I think after a few rounds you could go, okay, this could be tight. But I think until you get, like I said, the 5th, 6th round with Munguia having a good advantage, I don't think there's even a chance you think he's going to win. And getting hit and getting dropped in round 4, you're sort of like, ooh, that's too early for you to have a problem with Canelo to even to win it, even if you go to decision. So please let me know what you thought of the fight in the comments below. Obviously, Tyson Fury Usyk coming up very soon, and I'll be doing a review of that one once it ends. So subscribe to the channel when you want to see more. Like this video if you enjoyed, and let me know what you thought of the fight in the comments.